Hi, everyone. Welcome to Live with Janome. I'm Anne Hein, Embroidery Software Specialist for Janome America. And let me get my camera on here so I can say a proper hello. Hi there, everyone. So welcome to Live with Janome. Today, it's Basics and Beyond. And I wanted to talk to you about the Digitize Outline Shape tool that is in Artistic Digitizer. It's the drawing tool, and it's located in the full program on the left-hand side. And you can set your Digitize tool different ways, and I'm going to show you each of those ways so you can work with it with the way that works best for you. Now, I typically keep mine in the default context because that's the way everybody's software comes, and then from there, everyone changes it. So I pretty much keep it in that one spot, but I'm going to show you how to change it and what those changes mean. And I encourage you to start using that Digitize Outline Shape tool and do some drawing in there. The more you do, the easier it gets. I do use my mouse with it. You can use a tablet and draw with that as well, like a Wacom tablet, or there's some other ones out there too. I have another one. I can't think of the name of my other one. I don't use it as much. I'm not the best person at drawing, but I do like to use my mouse for certain things, and I like to create with it. So it's one of those tools that it just takes a little bit of time, and you'll learn it and get easier at it. And some people will really fly with it and do very, very well. All right, so let me get to the software and we'll take a look at that. I gotta get that up here. Here we go. All right, so here we are in our software, and what I want to show you first is I am on a Mac, so for me to change that tool, I would go up under Artistic and Preferences, and then, which doesn't show on my screen until you see this window here. And then you would go under Tools, and there is your Digitize tool under the context menu, and we have these other areas as well. So we're going to start with the context menu. And the thing is, if you're on a PC, what you're going to do is you're going to go under Tools, Tool Options, and then you'll see that same screen. Now, the thing under that same screen, which is nice, if you haven't found it before, on the first page, you can change your measurement from metric to imperial. And normally it's set, the default says 2 imperial. And that if you want to go to inches, you would click there, and it would set it now, it would say now 2 metric. If I wanted to go back to metric, I would click there. All right, so if it says 2 imperial, click it, click OK, and it'll change your program for you. All right, let me get out of there. Let me go into Create New. We're going to work with a new page. Now, everyone knows to really quickly, right here on the front page, you can set your default machine and hoop. And then down here, your embroidery category and your color of your background. And I use the normal category, but we've talked about these before, and I'll probably keep going over them so we learn them even better. And I like a white background because it's easier for me to demo for all of you. There we go. And all those other fabrics under that one category, they use all the same settings, and you can change those in your set mode. So I'm going to come back in here, and I'm going to go to my new page. And let's see, I need to open up my properties. If you lose your properties or your colors, I'm going to close my colors so you can see. If they don't show up over here, let me get this on. I thought it was on, but I guess it's, maybe it is. All right, turn this off. If you want to turn on your colors and your properties, up here in this gray area, you can right-click properties or right-click colors, and then they pop on. I have mine laying on top of each other. You won't see anything under properties till you have something on your workspace. You'll see your colors, and then whatever you have for your, maybe you have your default setup. I have Janome as my default, but these are the other thread colors that I might use that are near the top of my list. And I keep it at Janome when I'm designing, only because there's less shades of things. And when I'm designing, I just want a color. I don't need to say, oh, I want to, which blue I use. Sometimes when I get down to the finite parts, I'm going to start using those colors and changing things that way. All right, so over here on the left side is your Digitize outline shape tool. And we have the outline shape tool, the freehand shape tool, and of course the magic wand. And I'll cover the magic wand on a different lesson, but we're going to do the outline shape tool, and I will show you the freehand shape as we go. So you're going to click on that, and then when you come over here, when you're with the context tool, when I make left clicks, I will get a curve node. And if I want to have a straight or a corner node, I will touch shift and then left click. So if I'm just left clicking, I'm getting curve nodes. If I shift and click, I'm going to get my line nodes. Now, once you overlap them, they will become a filled shape. Or if you bring it close, I'll do one off here to the side. And my tool is still active. I still have it selected. So as I start to touch, it's going to start working. When you get up here, if you right click, left click, right click, and then you could do end shape, it'll end it. Now I didn't close that one. So let's go back here and say close section. It's going to close that area. Same thing, you could bring it around and put it right on top and it'll close it as well. It joined these together because I did them all, I'm working with them all together. And of course the pink is because these things are outside. So that's using the Digitize outline shape under the context menu. So you're left clicking for your curve nodes, your shift, and left clicking for your line nodes like this. The other thing you can do is you can do a snap to the line, and I'm going to end this here and go up here and turn off my tool, but I'm going to go to a new page and show you that. I am going to put my grid on. You can do it without the grid, but I want to show you with the grid. So sometimes when you're working and you're with the outline shape tool, if you touch the Alt key or on a Mac, you're going to hit Command and you, let's see, I'm going to do Shift because I want them to be on the line. See how it'll snap to those lines for me while I hold the Shift? And well, I'm holding Shift to get a straight line, and I'm holding Alt on my PC or Command on my Mac. Now, when I let go of Command, they don't snap anymore. They just go wherever. But if I hit Command again, you can see it kind of pulls itself onto the line, which is really helpful if you're trying to do a straight line across. If you do that, a lot of times I do my when I do my in the hoop projects, I like some straight lines. So this is a shortcut way of doing that instead of going up to, I'm going to end this one. The other way to get that snap to is under view, under grid, you have to turn on snap, and then you have to turn it off. So this is a little easier way. And it works the same way with any of the Digitize outline shape tools when we change from the context to the other types. The freehand shape tool is your hand drawing tool like this. If you were going to draw something, I'm not the best at drawing. I'm going to try again here. Let's see. Let me move off to the side. So maybe I wanted to draw a flower. I could just hold my mouse down, my left click down, and draw my flower like this and end it there. And maybe I want to put a little center in there. Okay, that's good. Here goes my stem, and then maybe a leaf coming up here and a leaf coming up there. These, if I wanted to fill them in, I would have to make them closed objects. So I'd have to come in here and let's go to edit nodes. I could come here and do split outline and then bring this one over to here. And let's move that node down. So we'll put them together. And then if I select them both and let's see, I got to make sure I have them. Let me get them connected here. Here we go. And then I can join them at this point. So let me do, first of all, let's do right click let's select it all and do combine. Hang on, there we go. And then, oh, let's see. If I do break, oh, there we go, break apart, and then edit nodes. And if I join these, it should say join nodes down here. For some reason, it's not popping up for me, maybe because I don't have them in the right spot. And I might have to split the outline. So let me split the outline here and then try to bring that up on top. So that's how you can join your sections, doing those kinds of things. We've done that a little bit before in there, and you could fill these sections in. So that is the context tool. Now, if I was to change to one of the other tools, let me show you again. On my Mac, I'm going to go to Artistic and Preferences. And then on a PC, you would go under Tools, Tool Options, and you would get the same window. And on the second page here where it says Tools, you'll see the context menu. That's the default. You could come down here, the drawings menu, and when you hit OK, it's going to say it'll be applied next time the program starts. So I am going to close my program, and I got a little extra window in there. So let me see if I can close my window. There we go. I'm not saving anything. There we go. And then I'm going to bring it back on. Let me open my Artistic and bring it back. There we go. Let's make sure it's there. I'm going to see if I can get it back on because it takes a second here to bring it back into my software. There's me. Let's see if I can get it to come back. There we go. There it is. Okay, just takes a little bit to get that all to pop back in. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go in and see what the drawings looks like. Let me get this out of the way here. I'm going to go back to the tool, outline shape, and when I left click, I'm getting curves. When I right click, it ends my shape. So if I'm left clicking, I'm getting curves. If I hit shift and click, it's the same as the context tool. All right, so your contexts and drawings are the same. So let me go ahead. I'm going to close that, and I'm going to close my software. Let's see here. Close window. You have to give me a moment. It takes a second for all of this to pop back on. And I'm going to put the camera on over here to see if we can get it to come up a little quicker. There we go. All right. And so now it should be on. Oh, wait a minute. Did I change it? I did all that and I probably didn't change it. Let's go to the Janome Digitizer. Now you'll see Janome and Elna. If you have Elna Exuberance software, which is the same as Artistic Digitizer, you would select the Elna Digitizer. They're the same, they work the same way. So I'm going to click Janome and OK. Again, I will have to close my software and then open it back up. So let me get the camera on because it seems to work better when I do it this way. Turn this back on and put the software up. There we go. All right. So now let's go in and I'm going to do the outline shape tool. And when I left click, I'm getting my corner nodes. If I right click, I get curves. So it's left for straight, right for curve, left, right, left, right, left. So if I wanted to do, let me back this up. I can either hit delete or backspace to go back. It works that way with all of them. So if I do left and a right and a 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 left and a right, I can get this little shape thing going if I can remember which way my fingers are working and put that on top of itself. There we go. And I have a shape right there. From there, I can go ahead and make any changes to that by going to Edit Nodes, and there it is. Now, one thing I didn't show you on the context, it's the same on this one, is while you're drawing, so we're going to be down here in the outline shape tool, if you're drawing along, and I'll do it out here, and you drag your mouse, you'll get the circles that are green, and they have those positioning arrows with them. So let me go back to my edit nodes. On all of these, I can click and I get these arrows where I can reshape the outline. When I don't have that, let's go back and I'll show you the difference here. If I have something like this and I say edit nodes, these ones here only work, they pull the whole line up. I can't really reshape that line. Like over here, I can come in here and click on this arrow and I can bring it in close like that, or bring it in like this. I can make this arrow on this one come up over there. You don't want to loop them up, but you can make your shape come out in different ways rather than just the outline being dragged out like this. So you have the option of adjusting that curve with the arrows. So that's when you're drawing and you're dragging, and both all the tools respond the same way with that. Now, what I also want to show you is up here under help. If you go to help topics, and I love to use the search, and right here I'm going to type in digitize outline shape and enter. Oops, maybe I didn't spell something right, which is the usual. Yeah, there it is. I was never good at, okay, now it doesn't, okay, let me try this. Yes, this is the one I want. Digitize. Outline shape. There we go. Let's see. There we go. Digitize tools right here, or outline shapes down here. So digitize tools are going to give me a general look at this. Using the arrow here moves into the more of the menu of this. Here are those different menu items I was showing you. They explain each one of these here so you can read more about it. And it talks about the ends of your objects, and going further when you can click and drag using the Alt key here to click on the grid, how to create a closed shape on top of each other. Here's the context menu and different ways to finish your shapes. It talks about finish section, close section, end shape, the drawings mode, and so forth. And these are, like I said, those are the two defaults that are in there. So you have those you can read through on here. The other tool is the Biz Tool mode, and some people really like that. So I'm going to close this here, and let me go back in here, and I will go to Artistic Preferences, and I'm going to turn on the Biz tool. Here we go. Now, some people really like that. Sometimes that confuses me, but I like to make points, I've found out. So let me put that there, not save that, and I'll get the camera on because it works a little bit easier if I do it in this order. And we'll put this software back up. Let me open the software. There we go. There it goes. Got to cycle this around so it comes back up. There we are. All right, so when I go in here and I select outline shape, it's now the Biz tool. So it's going to give me all of those kind of arrows where dots where I can change all those arrows. Okay, and I could bring it around and put it right on top of each other and have a filled shape, and then select it and edit those nodes. So now I have all those green nodes. So you can set it that way. Also, when you're playing with this one, let me go back up. Left clicking, you're getting your straight nodes, and then if you shift and click, you get curves. If you're dragging, you'll have your Biz in there. So some people like that all the time. So you can do it that way. If you're in your tool and you're like, oh, I want to stop, hit the escape and it'll end that for you. Then you can select it and delete it. as you like. Now also under here is the freehand shape. That's the one where it's continuous. As long as you're holding down your mouse and dragging it along, you can create, your shape that way. You can always restart and like, oh, maybe I didn't want to stop there, come back to it, and then I want to join it like that. From there, I can, of course, edit any of those nodes. I can pull these out if I need to, like this. I can change them, add a node, delete a node, make it a line node so that's a straight line between those two nodes. Maybe I want a smooth node, which gives you the ones with the arrows, and then an auto smooth node. It doesn't give you those options of arrows, but it gives you a nice smooth curve. So if I want to change this one to an auto smooth, it's just going to pull the whole curve out for me and make that shape instead of having the option of the custom node here where you have your arrows to adjust the outside edge of your piece. So I think that's kind of nice. Like they give you options on how you like to work with your software. And I think that's important. So let me go back. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the camera on me. And then I'm going to close the software over here and put it back to where I like it. I'm going to go back to my preferences under tools again, and then change it to the context menu and okay. I have to close my software and then I'll reopen it. And when I reopen it, it will be the other, it'll be back to normal. So we can take a look at that. So if you're on a PC, let me go back to the software so you can see what I'm talking about. Here we go. Now you don't see the very top up here sometimes. On a Mac, it says Artistic. That's where you find preferences. On a PC, you would go to Tools, Tool Options, and then you would find the same window. I'll pop it up here. You'll find the same window and you want to go here to Tools, and that will take you to this menu right here. So you can change that, okay? And you can see I went back and forth very easily in there without too much trouble. It's not really that hard to, let me get this here. It's not really that hard to change between them and to try them out. And I always suggest that people, make those changes, play with the different ones, read up on your, in the help menu a little bit more to understand how the tool works. And then you just have to play with it a little bit. Make some little examples for yourself. You could bring in a backdrop and draw around your backdrop, which is a lot easier sometimes than trying to think of it on the top of your head. So there you go. And if you're ever looking, there are times when we're working and we just want to draw, some lines, maybe whiskers for a cat, or just some lines in our design. This is where you would do that. You would use your Digitize Outline Shape tool to get those single lines. And then from there, you can manipulate them. Let me go back one more time because I want to show you one other thing with that. Let's go here. And then let's say I was making some lines like this and shape, and I made another one like that and end shape. So I'm left-clicking, left, right-clicking, and shape. And then if I select one of these over here in my properties, I can make it a satin serial if I want, and I can change the width of it. Let's make it 4.0 mm. And then let's see, there we go. And also, we did this a couple videos back where we converted an outline to object. So, or an object to an outline. So let's click there. What that does is now I can, with my edit nodes, I have more nodes in here so I can make the middle of my shape wider or flex it however I like. So if there's something I wanted to do with this shape, I could. Rather than like if I click over here on one of these and I make it a satin serial and I change it down here, I like to make it wide so we can see it. And I'm putting in, I use inches, but I'm doing 5.0 mm. There we go. Whoops, no, I did not do that right. There we go. The thing when you use your satin serial is you only have a node at the end of it. Okay, let me scroll out so you can see that. You only have a node up here, so you can, you can change it like this, but you can't, I could make it curvy, of course, but I can't really change the shape of it in here. And sometimes that's what you want. You want to be able to change the shape in here. If I go back to my edit nodes, let's bring this in a little bit like that. If I make it a satin over here, a satin fill, then I can direct those stitches as well. When I select it and I go to stitch flow, I have direction, divide, and point direction. So by going this way, I can change the direction of those stitches. I can't do that on a satin serial. You can't change the direction of stitches in here. You don't have any of those options. Over here, I can divide it if I wanted to. Say I wanted to put a divide right here. I can put a little crease in there, which is really cool if you want to make more of a candy cane look. I could put another one here like this and one here. Whoops, let's cross these out. Those are direction. Sometimes I think my software just read my mind. There we go. Click there and drag to get your crease or your divide. There we go. And go back here to this one. Get rid of that. And then click off of that so you can see. Well, up here you can see how I changed. Now that makes some really cool things. If I went ahead and put in another divide, I don't know why that divide didn't work. There we go. Put one there. There it is. And we'll put one here. Maybe we'll delete one. I think I keep hitting the same ones. Let me put them in. Let me take them away first under divide, and we'll come back to them. There we go. All right. So now I can put one here to here, and maybe one down here like this. All right. There we go. So you can see it gave me these neat little creases in here and made it look like it's twisting, like a rope. That's really cool. So that's the difference. If you have a satin serial line, which is, let's select this and right click. That's an outline and you want to make it an object. It turns into this over here, which is an object. And if I wanted to convert my fill, which is my object, to a center line, it would bring it back. But since I put the divides in there, it makes it this interesting look here. It breaks it back up. So I can undo that way. All right, so let me go back to the camera and I will let you guys go for today. So have some fun with the different tools. Now I showed you today how to set your inches, the default hoop, and your embroidery category. We talked a little bit about that. We worked with our Digitize outline shape tool and our other drawing tool that's in there, changing to the different types. And it's all about how you left and right click. So you have to play with that a little bit. Near the end here, I showed you how to convert outline to an object, or an object to an outline, or a fill to an outline on there. They're very similar, but the wording's a little different. And then how to add stitch flow, which is for a satin object, you can have direction, divide, and point direction. So point direction will put a dot in there and bring all your threads into one corner, all into one little spot. So that gives you quite a few things to play with. And also check on your help menu so you can have a little additional help with that as well. All right, everyone, have a great day. Thank you for joining me. We'll see you again next week. I'm not sure what I'm doing next week, something fun for sure. And we'll see you then. Bye for now.